You know, and I know, and they know, cause we know, we go all in. You know, and I know, they know, cause we know, we go all in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. You are welcome to the All Dressed Up podcast tonight. It is Sunday, episode 29. It's your boy K Dizzle DC with my guy to my right. Have streams,
What
heffing
it
up.
do? What it
What's
do,
going
people?
on, man?
How you guys doing? What's up, K Dizzle?
What's going on, man? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm so excited, man. God has shined down and smiled down on me and my family today, man. I want to say, what's up, 410 Beard? I missed you today, but I know if you could have made it, you would have. But shout
Oh,
out to the other half of the All Dressed Up podcast. K Dizzle came through, blessed me with his presence, man. I was so thankful for you coming through today, man. Thank you
what are
very
you
much for
talking about,
coming
man?
out.
What
It meant a
happened?
lot. It meant a lot to me, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, man, Lil Birdie said Hef is having a baby girl.
Heffing is having. Wait a minute. Heff is doing what?
Hey, man, the reveal was live. The balloon popped, and it was surreal. But I was
Hold on.
surrounded in pink confetti.
Let me see. Let me see if we have actual footage of that. I think we got actual footage of that.
Oh,
He don't know I have it, but we got it. Let's see. Can you hear that?
yeah.
Look at all that pink, man.
Man, well, that was nice. That was very nice.
Oh man.
Thank you, Arizona. Thank
Hey,
you, 410.
great times with the family, man. I just
Very
want to
nice.
throw that out there. Look. It's a girl. Look,
Oh, thank you, man.
look. I just want to pop that out there. Shout outs to the homie, man. Shout outs to the homie. Have streams in the building. Having a
Thank y'all,
baby
man.
girl. Welcome to the fraternity, my guy. I'm
Man,
14.
I'm officially a girl dad, man. So maybe if the Lord blesses me, I'll catch up to you, man, because you've had the opportunity to raise four beautiful young ladies. Shout out to you, Yala Kim. Thank you. Good evening.
Yes.
But yeah, man. So I will definitely reach out to you for the fatherly advice. I will not be a stranger.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I'm still look, raising kids never stops. It never stops. Remember we talked about we talked about last week talking about family, man. My wife is probably gonna be in their face till they kick her out, I guess. I'm gonna be like, look, I love y'all, do what y'all do. When I hang y'all off, I hang y'all off. go, go be merry. But look, man, yeah, congratulations, man. Big things ahead, bright things ahead.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome
you very
everybody to
much.
the building, man. Hey, look, I did. Today was a great day. It was a good day. Not only for that, but for everything else that's going on. Show off your shirt. Show off the shirt. Here you
Dad to
go.
be.
Dad to be.
She got
She's
kids.
got kids.
Thank you, Ma. I love you. Thank you, Melinda. I love you. And I love
Oh
you,
man.
Sinead. Thank you, baby.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. Always good to spend time with family. Family is love. Hey
Wow.
man, let's do this. I know we talk about great things in it, but look, I know this is the big NFC East. I don't know if you know that notice our logo, right? There's a red and there's a green hat. The red hat is for the Washington those shall not be named, and the green hat is for the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, look, the campaign's coming soon. Girl Dad campaign coming soon. Trust me. But
Girl,
today,
Dad's in the building.
Girl Dad's in the building. Hey, the Dallas Cowboys had an outing today.
What happened to him, K Dizzle?
The
What
Dallas
happened to them
Cowboys
bum
had an
ass
outing today.
motherfuckers? What happened to them? I hope something happened to them. Shit. Dirty rat bastards.
Something's wrong with y'all, man. Yeah, you see his face beard get fatter, man. He's a little soft stuff. He's still going. But look, Cowboys did terrible. It's preseason. Season starts today. Okay,
I
Cowboys is terrible. It's preseason. Season starts
love how you
today.
just rolled it. Yeah,
Don't
Cowboys are terrible.
don't
Cowboys are
don't
terrible.
don't dwell on it because I know we got some Cowboy fans in the building. So, but
I
anything
mean,
else going
I
on?
see 8-8, man.
Huh?
8-8.
8-8.
8-8. 8-8. Plain and simple. If you can tell me that Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and that defense is going to win more than 8 games, let me know. But I have any amount of money relative to the fact that I have a child on the way that the Cowboys will not win more than 8 games this year.
Oof.
That's my bold prediction already.
All right.
Early.
August 29th, 9-10. 8-8. Oh
Yeah.
man, Kim is so excited for you, man. Good stuff. Good
Oh,
stuff.
thank you so much.
What else is going on in sports before we get to a rant and we get into this topic? What
I
do you
mean,
have,
the
Marquise?
biggest thing is, man, right now, the Ravens are a little bit rocked. The
Oh,
fan base was hurting. What's up, Mama Rona Cooper? Thank you very much. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Erica McCoy. I really appreciate the love today. But the Ravens lost Dobbins, man. Their
all right.
prime running back, and that's what happens in the preseason. Like they did a good job this year, right? Speaking of the NFL, they
Mhm.
trimmed the preseason down to 2 games and they added a regular season game to the end, but they still couldn't get out of
Yeah.
getting like big time players hurt. And that's just the name of the game. Like you can't
Yeah.
avoid injuries, man.
No, you
And it
can't win.
sucks to see good teams like that lose a real big player like in Dobbins because I really think that running back could have been like a Pro Bowler.
Do you
And he
think the
could.
Ravens missed their shot at the Super Bowl?
I think it's definitely a big blow because they're one of the best rushing offenses in the league, and when you lose depth, that can definitely hurt you. Like I'm not going to say that they can't run the football, but they're
Mhm.
definitely losing a piece of their depth. So as far as sports, like the Ravens are still going to be a powerhouse, but they're definitely going to feel that loss. And Mark Nebo
Okay.
said Mark Andrews going to need 15 touchdowns for the Ravens to go to the playoffs now. So we'll see how they rebound. They'll probably sign someone in free agency. Again, the Ravens are a run first football team, as you know, K
Mhm.
Dizzle. We were in a fantasy football draft about an hour ago.
Mhm.
I got to give you your credit. You did get the A minus on the report card. You did have the
Mhm.
best draft. I don't think that means shit. But Yahoo said K Dizzle had the best draft. And of course, he's sitting over there, doing the little finger motion like,
Hey, look. Hey, look. And I said it last episode. I am the worst at fantasy football. I'm not gonna say the worst. I am not that good at fantasy football. So this year, I didn't do any research. I just knew off of the people who went hard last year. I said, let me make a list and make sure I get some of those people. Now, I got the luck of the draw getting the first pick, which was
oh, you
crazy.
did? You
I
had the
got the
first.
first pick.
You a lucky bastard.
I
You
got the
always
first
get
pick.
lucky.
So
You a
we'll see how it
fortunate.
turns
You a
out.
fortunate one.
We'll see how it turns out. But
We'll see. So K Dizzle got the best grade in the report card that got sent out by Yahoo because we did our fantasy football draft on Yahoo. So I gotta give you credit, man. Like I know you probably let the computer pick your people, but I'm not gonna knock you. I'm gonna say,
no, I picked.
big ups to K Dizzle squad. I definitely will root for you because you're not in my division, but I will smack you up when it's time to.
Oh
But other
man.
than that, man, like fantasy football is in effect. The NFL season's coming up tonight. At the end of our podcast, the main event in sports will be the Jake Paul
Jake
Tyron
Paul,
Woodley
Tyrone
boxing
Woodley
match.
boxing
I'm
match.
honestly I'm interested, man. Like their face off was very eventful. A lot of disrespect, a lot of entertainment. Like boxing is now starting to become the old school WWF.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
unfortunately, the sport that I love is disgrace, man. Boxing was one of my favorite sports growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, a lot of people who are benefiting from the sport of boxing is people who are just getting a paycheck. Jake Paul can walk into boxing and box a UFC fighter and get paid more than any boxer in the game right now. So It's a little twisted. I'll still take the entertainment. I'm gonna say Tyron Woodley upsets Jake Paul. Believe it or not, the UFC fighter is the underdog tonight on the betting card. So I'm gonna say Tyron Woodley knocks out Jake Paul in the fourth
Strong.
round.
Fourth round. Fourth round. I was gonna say seventh. I was gonna give him a
Well,
little bit more of that.
they're going to 8 rounds.
They're going to 8 rounds. I still give him
Yes.
seven. I still give him seven. Yeah, WWF was lit. For a time, for a good long time, it was lit. So
Hey, do you
yeah.
remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin snuck into the hospital and beat Vince McMahon up with the bedpan?
Yes.
If you were watching hey, let me ask you a question, Arizona. Were you watching the WWF when Stone Cold Steve Austin snuck into Vince McMahon's
Hospital.
hospital room and beat him with the bedpan? Oh, Bianca died. Hey, look, shout out to Bianca,
Shout
man. I
out to
love you.
Bianca. Hashtag host.
Thank you so much. Hashtag host can grow. Thank you for coming out and support me today in the baby gender reveal. We love you very much. We really appreciate you.
but WWF was lit for a good long time, man.
Oh, I was a fan. I will tell you
It's a
first
new
and
age.
foremost.
It's a new age soap opera for men. That's what it was.
Hey, bro, I used to
But it was
watch Monday
fantastic.
Night Raw. I would watch all that shit. Like before The Rock, I'm talking about Hulk Hogan,
You
Andre
talking
the
about?
Giant,
Yeah, we talking
the
about
I'm talking about Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair, like classic wrestlers, man.
yeah. Stone Cold beat his ass everywhere. The
The
Undertaker, Hulk
Undertaker,
Hogan,
yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Um,
Woo.
we can go.
The
We're not gonna
Nasty
do
Boys.
that. Look, man. Look, W wrestling is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I love the
It's not the
new and
same
up.
though.
It's not the same. No, the big one's not the same. The new and up and coming ones are great if you get into them and just follow them. But it's an art. It's an art. You got to give them
It's
their
a true
props.
soap opera. I
You
mean,
got to
they
give them
gotta you
their
gotta give
props, man.
those guys credit to still be able to write those storylines after all these years. Like, goddamn.
Yeah,
Like to still have the ideas is crazy. Hardy Boy.
Hardy Boys. Woo!
Remember D
Hardy Boys.
Generation X?
New Generation X, the Dollar Man,
Ted
Ted
DiBiase.
DiBiase. Let's
Well, Miss
go.
Elizabeth,
Let's
he had
go.
remember when they had that little sidekick
Jake the
that would
Snake.
like distract the other wrestler? He had Miss Elizabeth. And like they would go around and like pull your feet when you're on the turnbuckle and
Yes,
shit. Man, wrestling was man.
wrestling was great.
What a
What a
great
time.
format
What a
entertainment.
time to be alive back then.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
telling
missing
you,
out.
man. I'm blessed, man. I had a chance to see Hulk Hogan, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and The Rock. God damn.
Look at
What a
you.
time to
You
be alive.
doing?
And
You
Drake.
smelling your flowers right now. Hey,
And Drake.
so look, let's do this while we're still on the same topic because it's funny that the gender reveal was today and we're talking about today. But we're going to do black businesses, and we need to shout out one black business that was in full effect today at the joint that was putting all the work in. Man, shout out to him. Give it to him.
Man, let me tell you, man. SG the Damager, man. I'm gonna tell you right now about her DJing skills. It's phenomenal. Period. Like I don't sit here and boast and brag about a lot of things. Like, but when I'm confident about somebody's talent, like when I looked at her face today and she told me she wasn't feeling good, she apologizes, but she showed up. I said, "Look, man, I appreciate you." She put on a show
Oh,
today
she
at
did
our
the damn
gender
thing.
reveal. She's a phenomenal DJ, man. Like I really will book her for any major event. If you don't call her, you be a fool. Very entertaining DJ, master her craft, played all the right music for the event because we did have our baby gender reveal. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just respect it, man. Like I really appreciated it. She's a very great professional. And like I said again, if you want anybody to come DJ your personal event, please shout out to SG the Damager on Instagram. Bad. Serious with it.
Shout out to DJ Double A. She did her thing. She did her thing, had the party rocking, and was consistent with the hits.
Seriously, man.
Consistent with the hits. The mixes and everything was good. It was great. You got to give it to her 100%, 110%. Shout out to her. SG the Damager on Instagram. Give me 1 second. Let me pull mine up here. And look, while we close, but yeah, there. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to give mine to. Oop, that's the wrong screen. To the homie Devin Anderson, Dizzy Anderson with Divine Nine Studios. Let me go to his website right here, Divine Nine Studios. Is it showing Divine Nine? Let me make
It's a
sure I
little
got my
bit.
right
It's a
account.
little bit back. It's not zoomed up, but I
It's
think it
not
is.
zoomed up. It's not zoomed in. Divine Nine Studios, man. Look, videography, music,
Okay.
broadcasting, videos, documentaries, photography. They do it all. The man is sharp as a tack. Um, it's divine9studio.com. They do everything you looking for plus some. These are some of the videos that they've done. I can't do it on one show, copyright reasons, but I mean, he films and does everything under the sun. The guy is awesome at what he does. Divine9studio.com. It's the homie Devin Anderson. And let me go back to his page so I can get a better shot. But look, we do this every week to make sure we try to make sure we do this every week to make sure we celebrate black businesses in the area, and support them in everything that they do. We got to give back to the community. The best way we can do it is providing them with our dollars and giving them our business, as long as they do good work. I believe in supporting our people, but if they trash, they trash. We need to call them out so they can get better. That's it, hands down. Call them out so they can get better. But
We're
it's
not
Divine Nine
promoting
Studios.
trash, right?
Never promote trash.
We're
Never
not here
promote.
to promote trash, but we're definitely here to promote our beautiful black, privately owned businesses. And like I ask you guys every week to please send us information on who you like us to promote, because we are going to have a rollout of all the businesses that we have shouted out on the All Dressed Up podcast through 29 episodes. Believe it or not, we are on our 29th episode, man.
29th episode.
It's incredible,
Consistently
man.
29th.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, man. I'm gonna speak for K Dizzle. Like, we really appreciate everybody that's been watching us for the last 28, 29 weeks. It means a lot to me. Like, every Sunday night at now, like, we talk about, like, we're on all platforms. We have a live conversation. We're not anybody famous. We're not too special, but I know that K Dizzle has a great heart. So do I, and we're pretty intelligent, and we like to talk about everything that you guys like to talk about.
Speak for yourself, nigga. I'm special.
All right, but he's special.
I'm gonna believe that with all my heart. I know you special too.
No, I know you're special, but honestly though, like, I really, I really do big up K Dizzle, because, like I said, every week we come on here and we have a live conversation at 9 o'clock on Sunday nights, and I really feel like we try to put in a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of passion behind it, and hopefully you guys understand that, because we do appreciate everybody's opinion, and we welcome everybody every week. So thank you very much. Like I say, every
Thank you,
Sunday
thank you.
night.
We do what we're born to do. We do what we're here to do, and we do what we're good at. Hef and I are good at having conversations and having thoughtful conversations. Hef is a great question asker, if that's the word, question asker. But we love what we do, and like you said, nothing would be nothing without you guys. But let us really get into the nitty gritty about what we want to talk about tonight. I'll be that baby Pappy. It's the episode. It's the episode title, and um, whenever we have conversations about some of the things pushing forward and the topics we want to discuss, we kind of go down our own rabbit hole through a conversation. And the biggest one, after everything we talk about, um, is about people raising other people's kids, right? um, I know everybody has seen online, some type of post where some baby daddy took one kid and not the other kid, the sibling who wasn't his son or wasn't his daughter, and it created massive amounts of controversy. So we wanted to focus on not only that, but just the dynamics of it as well. And I think you have the best way of putting it together, the ideas and things together. So let's talk about what we're gonna wrap on tonight.
So basically, one thing that we do between K Dizzle and myself every week, we talk about prepping for the show. And I think that in my experience in my 35 years of life, I've seen, different people, different friends and family, male and female, who've stepped in, I would say, and became wonderful parents and parental figures in children's lives that weren't biologically theirs. Now, all I'm saying is that, obviously your love for a child and their love for a parent is going to be the same no matter what, but I'm just talking about the aspect of, hey, you might have a young woman or a young man having a child. It didn't quite work out with their significant other or their partner, and now they have a new relationship, and what's going to happen? Like, obviously, the child's still there, they're present, and it comes down to, how serious are you going to take that relationship? And when you do have that relationship, are you going to give the necessary attention to the child? So, we're going to talk about that tonight in different aspects, and we're going to talk about how that can be difficult if you might not be ready to take on that child, or you might not have been ready for a child per se, but the person that you care about does have a child and they're in the relationship. And I want you guys to text 301-857-1757 to join the conversation, because like we say each and every night, Sunday nights, we do talk and we interact live. So come on in and join the conversation. But let's roll the ball out with the conversation. What happens when you're a young person, or you know what, let's not even say there's really any age to it, but you meet a person. Let's talk about the early stages of a relationship.
Right.
And you meet a person, everything's on the table, the cards are up, the communication is clear, they have a child, you don't. And let's talk about from a man's perspective, right? So you meet a young lady and you really like her, you're dating, and she says, look, I have a child, I'm a single mother. And at the end of the day, you know that you really do like her. You know, you're dating her on multiple occasions to where this could lead to a relationship. At what point, let's start here, do you
Mhm.
want to, if you do want to take that relationship further, at what point do you address the child, and what are your first steps to meeting the child and starting that relationship?
That's a that man. I was just thinking about that. My first idea was how soon is too soon?
Right. I think we
How
should start
soon?
there, right?
Yeah, how soon is too soon? Chat. If you're in a relationship, you're dating someone. How soon is too soon before you bring that person home and introduce them to your kids? How soon is there a too soon? Is there a too soon in that? Because that's hard. That's that's hard to for me. That's hard to answer. Um,
It's very subjective.
it is. It is. It is. And then at what point in your, let's say you are dating somebody, right? Um, if they do offer to for you to meet their child, um, and you don't know if you're serious or not, do you still meet that child?
But that's the thing, Kate. There's like you just said, like if you don't know that you're serious or not, right?
Yeah.
There's a fine line, right? And out of respect and love for the child, you might really like this person, male or female, whatever the role is. And at the time, you know that there's a potential to where that child can be attached to you. And if you want to make that relationship grow and you want to like see that person, you want to go back and forth with that person and date, right?
Right.
Eventually that child's going to be involved. Like
Right.
you're going to cross paths with that child. And it comes down to, I hate to say it, but like let's put it on our perspective, right? As a man, like if I really do like this woman,
Hmm.
to be fair to the child, I should want to address her and the child as a group package.
Right.
And honestly, if as a man I don't see this woman being anything besides a date, it's not that serious, because at that point you already know what you're going to do. But if you make the decision that you do want to take this relationship serious, you do have to take that child's feelings into into the relationship.
Right. Right. So what if the guy or the what if the guy or the girl says, if the, let's say you and it's your shoes, you have the kid, and the girl says, I don't want to meet your kid yet.
You got to
How do
respect
you take
that.
that?
You got to respect that, because if she's telling you that up front, that's the most honest and straightforward and respectful directive she can give you.
Hmm.
Because I wouldn't want to introduce her to my child as a single dad, and she doesn't have intentions of wanting to be a person in that child's life. Like, I'm not going to put people into my child's life, if that was my circumstance, if they're not going to want to put themselves into their life. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
going to do that to either one of them. Like, that's
Right.
unfair to the child, and that's unfair to the person you're dating, in my opinion.
Right.
So it really comes down to the adults because the child's innocent, right? So
Right.
when you have an innocent child who doesn't really understand what's going on, and then you have, two adults in this situation, it should be up to them to lay it out and be honest with each other, because the longer you play around and if you're not serious, you're just going to hurt the child.
But see, all right. So l- that's a great example, right? So it's only taken one or two ways. It's taken as a positive, or it's taken as a negative. Now, how do you if it's taken as a negative? Let's say you dating a girl, she has a child. She say, "I want you to come over. I want you to meet my son or my daughter," and you say no. You're not ready for that, right?
I'd rather you say no than lie and not say no and then go and
Right.
then play the game like, I'm not ready for this right now,
Hmm.
and go see and be around the child, but know in the back of your head that you're really just being selfish because you're just doing that to make the next steps with the person you're in a relationship with, right?
Yeah. Yep. What up, Jay? So so does that or does that not plant a flag in the relationship at that moment? Because let's say you're having serious feelings and you work enough up to asking that question, right? You working up to ask that question and are willing to bring that person in that child's life.
Well, let's define it right here. When would you say it's early enough for you to introduce your child into your relationship if you're a single parent? What's your personal opinion?
My personal opinion, I don't know if it's a time thing. I think it's a relationship thing more
Okay.
than anything else. It's a relationship thing. It has some semblance on time, but a lot of relationships nowadays are more conversation based than anything else. We ain't going out a lot like we used to, just because of COVID and other shit going on. But at the same time, if you're a
Shit,
single
fuck
parent,
COVID.
but at the same time, if you're a single parent, you
Prices
have a
went
lot
up.
more. You have a lot more responsibilities than the normal person. So your time is very limited. It isn't the time frame. It has more of the more of how you really feel about that person at that time, the engagement, the conversation, where you think you are within that relationship. And some people are too soon with it. They fall in too deep. And like I said, by that person planting the flag, it could say, hey, you're a little farther along than they are. So let's slow this down. Let you back your feelings up a little bit before you go in deeper and bringing that person around your child. You know what I'm saying?
But see, the
Um,
sad thing is, though, bro, it's not like the movies, right? Like in the
mhm.
movies, you always see that dynamic to where you got the guy who likes the girl, it's all cute, and
Yeah, yeah,
one of
yeah.
them are single parents, and it's all funny, and the jokes are there. Like everybody that you date is not all about being a dad or a mom to your kid,
Right,
and that's what we're talking about. Like that's it doesn't mean they're a bad person, okay?
right.
Like the point of our podcast tonight is, how do you handle that dynamic? Because if I'm honest to you and you tell me, look, I'm a package deal, I'm a single parent, and if you date me, I just want to let you know that I do have a son or a daughter.
Hmm.
Is it okay for the other person that you're dating to say, look, I have no intentions of being a parent, but I do like you? And at that point, first off, does that honesty
Oh.
exist? Or does a person put their foot in the door and then renege on the expectations? Or do you have a person that's upfront and say, look, I like you, I want to date you, but I'm not ready to be the new, dad for your kids?
Ross, it sucks when you really like the girl and her kids are bad. So you
That's real, Erica McCoy. That's very
yeah,
real. I
you
respect that
respect the
honesty.
honesty and
But
part
in a
ways.
perfect world, Erica, we talk about that up front. But obviously, Erica, if that guy likes you a lot and you have a child and you're a single mother, they might not say that. So you could part ways because they want to obviously take it further with you. But at some point, you're going to have that situation where it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna have the child in the room with the boyfriend, and the dynamic is there, and he might not be ready to be daddy, but you like him, and it's an unfortunate situation because the later you have that conversation, in my opinion, the worse it is for your relationship, because you both have good intentions, but there is a whole nother person involved.
Yeah, and the other part of that dynamic is the follow up question to that. If somebody says, "I'm not ready to be a mom," or "I'm not ready to be a dad just yet," um, they're looking at it way too deep. Nobody is asking you to step into that role or in that position at all. We're talking about, hey, I think we're at a point in our relationship where I feel comfortable in allowing you closer within my life, closer into the things that are important to me. It doesn't mean I'm asking you to come in and assume a role. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, hey, it's the same way as I want you to meet my family. A single person says, I want you to meet my family. A single person with kids said, I want you to meet my kids. You have to take that same attitude with it. But if you got somebody coming off like that, say, look, I ain't ready to be a daddy. I ain't ready to be a mom. That just lets you know where their fear or their level of fear is right now, um, as far as moving into that relationship. As Bianca says, I'm good on that. I don't believe it's a time thing. You evaluate your relationship. Been there before with a man that had 4-year-old child when I met him, and I raised her as my own. Today she's 24, still part of her life. So it's critical to evaluate a relationship. And also, like I said, just because somebody says, okay, I'm not ready to meet them doesn't mean, or they say I'm not ready to be a dad, doesn't mean that you cut them. It just means that they're not understanding what the question is at that point. They're
But
not
see, another
understanding.
thing too, K too, real
Yeah.
quick, is that a lot of people on the outside looking in, like Rona said in her comment, like when you do step in and you become a phenomenal step parent, and I hate to use those fucking terms and shit because at the end of the day, like you're loving the child, and you're a parent. But when
Right.
you raise a child that's not biologically yours, like that's a very big commitment, and that's very true. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And like on the outside looking in my opinion, I can't speak on that situation because I've never done it personally. And
Right.
a lot of us have never done that. So like when you see a person raising someone else's child, which is another fucked up term because really like you're raising the child as yours, a lot of people judge them and they don't understand the feeling and the emotions behind it because they're not in that situation.
Hmm.
So I've seen like honestly Rona Cooper in the chat, she's a phenomenal parent. A lot of good friends of mine, like Brian Riley, he raised his daughter who wasn't biologically his. And I speak and put him out there because he's a phenomenal dad and his daughter loves him. And like, that's his daughter. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, a lot of people out here have been great parents to children that weren't theirs. But in my opinion, like, you have to have a conversation, I think, in the beginning or at some point kind of like learn each other and figure each other out. Like Rona said, evaluate the relationship because if you take it on and then the relationship doesn't work, are you still going to be there for that child? Because at that point, they've grown an attachment.
That's the crux of it all. That's the crux of it all. And so when you get into that, woo, Erica, we can like each other a lot,
Hey, she
but I'm a
texting long
single
letters.
mother,
All
and
right,
my
Miss Erica.
next time, Erica, you better text or you better join the conversation.
Yeah, you
Goddamn, I
gotta
ain't
join the
reading these
conversation.
marathons.
If you have a message that's 5 stanzas or more, we love you, Erica McCoy, but you gotta join the convo.
Look, she said we can like each other a lot, but I'm a single mother and my son is my priority, so he would have to take us as a package deal. I wouldn't be upset if he's not ready to meet my son, depending on how long we've been dating. But if we're getting serious, then he has to know what it is. I'm not asking him to be my son's dad, right? Because you're with me and you're going to be around my son, and often uh, if he doesn't like my son, I can't bond with my son. That's still going to be tough, and we probably won't work. You're 100% correct. But if you're not bonding with the guy enough, he's not going to have the love and the empathy to bond with your child.
But it's
So,
a lot of pressure though too, because it takes a lot for me to bond with you and to grow our relationship because we got
mhm,
to fill each other out as a man and a woman. And at the same time, I also have to bond with your child, or vice versa. You got to bond with mine. So not only do we have to organically grow our relationship, but we also have to grow a relationship with the child. And Does that, let me ask you a question. Like, does that
Yeah.
relationship just automatically come with the relationship that you have with the parent? Like, what if, like Shanae said, what if your child's bad as shit, right? And I love the mom, I love the ground she walks on, but her
Hmm.
child is like bad as shit.
Hmm.
Like, what do I do? Because obviously it's hard to say, baby, I love you, but your kid is bad as a motherfucker.
You gotta
Like,
tell them. You got
you
some
gotta
badass
have that,
kids.
you gotta have that conversation.
You gotta have that kid. You gotta have that conversation. You got some badass kids. You need to do something. You need discipline. They need
But
discipline.
what if she but what if she doesn't like you talking like that? What if she says, look, it's on me to say if my kids is bad. And if you want to talk to me, leave that up to me.
Oh well, then you leave her up to her. No, but no,
Hey.
but look, you have to be at a certain level of comfort within a relationship to have those type of conversations. Period. Point blank. Um, kids are going to be kids, and their parents. The kids are always a reflection of the parents, and one of the things that we don't realize until we're older is that when you become a parent, you are learning as you go. It doesn't matter how much you read or how much that shit is, and you only get better if you know the more that you have, the only way you get better at it or you see some of the mistakes. So and you can't never go back and fix those shits because it's what it is. The same. I'll give you an example. Okay, my oldest daughter, my wife was really neat. My daughter, she would get her hands dirty. She wipe her hands real quick and all that other stuff, so she would get dirty. So, um, my fourth, we can just throw her in the mud. It was a learning experience as you go. We are our children's mirror.
That's deep.
We try to make sure that we instill the best of us in them, and some of them are inherently through that get some of the worst of us. What we consider to be the worst, what are some of the best traits, which make us who we are. So if they got badass kids, you got badass kids, and there's no way around it. And there has to be some type of dynamic when within a relationship or working through a relationship where you can have that kind of honesty with each other. But let me. I know we're going in deep into the kid part, the dynamic of the kid part. I want to switch it to a different side of it, to whereas um, two different kids. You have like say the woman has a kid and the man has a kid, and the dynamic in between them being working together and being siblings,
So
and
you talking about the blended family.
the blended family. Okay, because the biggest dynamic on that is whether within that blending family the co-parenting exists with each side, whether there is a co-parenting side or there's just a stimulus side, if you know what I mean.
I mean, you
So
want to talk about a situation with moving parts, right? Like,
with moving part,
have you ever heard that saying, like, man, there's a lot of moving parts. Like,
yep,
imagine you're in a relationship with another person who has a child. You have a child. You're both single parents, and you have to deal with the other parent,
right.
and you have to deal with the fact that your children, you want them to get along, but what happens if they hate each other?
Ooh,
And then you got the whole aspect of now dealing with each other's step parents. Like, I mean, we talking
ooh,
about a lot of shit involved there.
yes,
Like, first
yes,
and foremost, the love between the people in the relationship has to be very strong, or
mm,
the optimism has to be very strong, because that is a tough situation.
it's
Even
gonna be
if
a
you
lot.
have, right, even if you have one of the parents on board and your visitations all cool, they're cool with you being around their child, because a lot of people have that pride of they don't want their children to be around step parents. You know, like, I don't want my child around that bitch. Like, I've heard that a few times around the way. Like,
Hmm.
we cool, but don't have my
Don't have
child
it around,
around that bitch.
right.
And, like, I get it, but at the same time, that's their parent too.
Hmm.
So what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you do have a child and you're in a relationship, or you have a blended family, and now all of a sudden your child is around another parent of, in a way it's weird because like I'm not in that situation, but it feels like
Mhm.
they're kind of taking your place, right?
Mm.
Or let me ask you a question. Or is it like that? Like, do you feel like those people feel like those people are taking their place in their child's life because when they're not around, they're playing mommy? Or I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the appropriate term is. It's a real interesting conversation.
Mm. So anybody with a blended family like that, if you call that number, chime in. Let's talk about it. Let us know about your experiences, what you've seen with it, how you grew up within it. Um, and so that it can help bring something to this conversation, because we talk about, you got two people right now. I know of a bunch of blended families. I don't have a blended family. I know Hef don't have a blended family. So it's hard to look outside looking in. I've seen how they worked. I've seen how they haven't worked. Um, I give an example. Uh, I had a sister that was married for 20 years and had a blended family for a while. And as soon as your marriage was up, the blended family no longer existed. So I mean, they were four kids. They were four kids. It was two, then it was four, then it went back to two. So it was just, it's one of those things where, long term and short term, how those blended family dynamics work out. And like I said, everybody has to be a grown up in the room, but not everybody is, and we understand that. But the biggest thing is how the kids are affected throughout this entire process.
It's
Uh,
deep, man. Especially like because I've seen people, okay, that like have really been phenomenal parents and raised kids that weren't biologically theirs, but they still have relationships with those kids as adults, and they didn't even still stay in a relationship with their parent.
yeah,
Like I've seen it, bro. Like it's a beautiful thing because you can't fake love, and you establish a loving relationship with the child, and you can't just end that when a relationship doesn't work out with their parent. Like what are
yeah,
you supposed to say, K Dizzle? Like if all of a sudden me and you don't get along in a relationship anymore, it doesn't mean that I hate you as a person. We just
right,
don't work. We just don't work in a relationship.
right,
And because we're two adults and we're mature about it, we notice that, look, okay, we're better off not in a relationship. Great. But it doesn't take away my love for the child,
hmm,
and that's the sad part. Like, what happens at that point when two adults realize, look, the relationship isn't working, but, you've been a wonderful parent to this child. I've seen, friends of mine stand in there and still raise a child and still keep the relationship to this day. And I think it's a
yeah.
beautiful thing. I
And
really
kudos
do.
to them. Kudos to them. Kudos
I
to them.
really do.
I got the wonderful pleasure of meeting this fantastic young lady today, in person, and I feel like honored and privileged to do so. And she said, "Tap me in." And of course, I am going to tap her in. Shout out to Bianca Wilson.
Hey y'all.
HCG,
So,
what's good?
what's up? So, I was going back to the fact when you said if the child is bad, if the child bad as shit, how you just want to deal with that badass child. Number one, it's all in that child is raised. Like we talking about an innocent kid here. You just coming into the situation. Who the fuck are you
Right?
to say that this kid is bad?
You know a badass kid when you see a
I
badass
understand
kid.
that, but listen here. Some parents might not notice some things. It's day by day. People can learn stuff day by day. No matter you're a parent, you've been a parent for 13 years.
Right.
Somebody can come into your life and tell you something that you might not know that
Or
might
you
work for
might not
you.
have ever learned. You're
So
right.
somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you would think that person is genuine to not even go that far with you to say you got this badass kid. The fuck, and you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I would take offense to that. Like.
Right.
I got two different type of children. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And one you might call bad as fuck, but who the fuck are you? Like,
Right.
I don't know how you was brought up, but if you coming into our situation,
Right.
you might
Right.
spark some light on me that I might not know. You know what I mean? Like, hey, instead of doing it this way, you might want to do it that way, and
Hmm.
that shit might work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take a
Facts.
different viewpoint of somebody, but somebody who
What's
really care for you, if you in a relationship, they
Yep.
might tell you some shit like that instead of telling you you got this badass kid.
Yeah, it's how
Because
you
once
approach
you
the
come at me
situation.
and say you got a badass kid,
Oh,
you're
you
done.
oh, you straight up. You
Yeah,
straight
we
up.
not doing
We
that. You
squaring
don't know
up.
me. Like I'm not doing that.
Right,
I
right.
don't
And it's
know.
look, it's like
I
you
don't know
said.
none of that. We talking about
So
innocent
so
kids here. We
basic
talking
so
about
basically
children.
so basically if I'm trying to talk to Bianca and her kid's bad as shit, I gotta fake like a
You
motherfucker.
better
Like, oh
word that shit
look,
properly.
oh look, I'm
Put
these
that
kids.
shit to
I
me
love
proper.
I love these badass kids.
Right, boom. You might be like, yo, you feel me? Yeah, you might
I
be
love
like, I love
these
them,
badass kids.
but I feel like we might could do this. You know what I'm saying? You got it's the wording for me. Like the
Yeah,
fuck,
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
it's the
mean? Like,
delivery. It's
yeah,
the
it's
delivery.
definitely delivery, especially when you talk about somebody's child. Like,
Oh,
I
you
feel
never
100%.
know
you.
what type
I
of
feel you.
experience they done had, or you don't know. Parents take parenting differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't be talking about no kids out here like this. Talk about because fucking with me, somebody like me, it's going left.
Talk to me nice.
It's
Niggas
going
say,
left.
talk to
It's
me
going all the way
nice.
left. Like what you
You are
talking about?
look,
What you
But
you
see,
say?
that's
already know.
but see, Bianca,
Yeah,
that's what
like
I was talking about earlier, right? Like, it's all good when you fuck with somebody, but you gotta keep it real when it comes to them kids, though. Like,
Joe.
I'm gonna sniff out a bullshitting ass person that say they fuck with me, but they don't fuck with my kids, right?
you can't tell me that. What you telling
Right,
me? How
right,
you gonna tell me you fuck with me but you don't fuck with my kid? That means you don't fuck with me. That's
Hey
me.
look.
Like what you
Hey
talking
look.
right.
about?
The
I
only
don't care.
thing
I don't give a damn how my kids
Do you
acting.
think there's some people out there that still do you think there's some people out there that are still talk to a person that really don't have a good relationship with their kids?
I think that's people that would say that, but I don't know if see, like I said, if the parent is real, like
Yeah.
people don't
Mhm.
deserve to be parents out here. As you can see, you just see the people done killed the kids. The girl done killed the kids.
Mm.
Mm.
But so it depends on what we talking about as a parent. Like I take parenting seriously. That my kids
Right.
are
Right.
my world. So you can't come to me and say my kids bad as shit.
The only
You can't.
thing that we
You
will ever
can't.
go to jail for is our kids. I promise
No,
you,
I ain't
without
going to jail for
question.
them. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't going to jail for them
You ain't gonna make
because I
it.
don't do jail. I don't do
You ain't
jail,
gonna
No,
and
make
I
it.
ain't going to jail for them. Like
don't.
I ain't gonna lie. What if you can go? What you doing? I ain't doing that
No,
shit.
no, no. You know what I'm saying. Let somebody lay some hands on
I yes. Now
Let somebody lay some hands on them.
yeah, you
It's a
got me
wrap.
messed up. Like don't do that now. But if they doing something, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I ain't going to jail for nobody. I ain't
Yeah.
going to jail for nobody. But you lay the hands on my child is something different. But when you coming into a situation with somebody who has a kid, you have to be open minded to how they would feel
Hmm.
about if you say something about their kid. Like if you
But what do you think about that, Bianca? Like, if somebody talking to somebody, right, male or female, and they being like mean to their kids, but they treating like the parent good,
something
and like that.
wrong, you
But
gonna
but
see that as a parent. You
but what do
you
you think
hear that
about the
type shit.
parents that like still fuck with them even though they treating their
Something
kids
wrong with
bad?
y'all. Something wrong with them. Something wrong. I
Yeah.
can't relate to them motherfuckers because if you think that you can talk to my child like you ain't got no goddamn sense and then treat me like oh you don't really fuck with me.
Right. That's my point.
You can't you
Okay.
can't really you can't really mess with me. What you gonna do with me? Cause once my kids tell me you done did some shit, especially if I don't see it. Like say if I don't see it, I don't see them treating you bad. But the moment I leave or like some sneaky shit, you know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm gonna take my kid word. I'm gonna be like, what happened? And then
Hmm.
if your shit don't sound right to me, ain't even another day for you.
Well, I
Oh.
said, yeah, we going into a whole nother
You
deep
not, you know what
dive
I'm saying?
into,
You're not really, you're
yeah,
not, you're not, because I do know some kids that'll do some shit to sabotage relationships.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So that's why I say it's all about how your relationship is and what your parenting is. Like you
Yes,
know your kid. Like
yeah,
I
you
know
know
my
your
kid.
kids.
If my daughter don't like you, she gonna do everything. She gonna do everything for you to do something. So I could be like, what the fuck you say? Like what you say? What you do? My daughter gonna do everything to be like,
Hmm.
I don't like this shit. Going bang crazy. But I'm the type of mother to be like, why you don't like it? Because you're a kid and you gotta do it.
Hmm.
Or he really did some shit, or she really did some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
what's going on? I gotta appreciate the shit. Like, you know
Hey,
what I'm saying? I
Bianca.
gotta read between the lines.
Hey, Bianca, you got the chat saying preach the truth, and you always come through with the real facts and shit, and
I
that's what
be
it's
trying,
about.
y'all. Y'all know
Like,
I be feeling myself a little bit. Y'all be
but
getting on my
like,
nerves and I can't
nah,
text it. Like I can't text. It's too much to text. Like that girl, she texts a lot of shit. I say
That's
call
why
in
you come through.
shit
She
because I can't
texted the
text that.
letter.
That's too much.
I love her in the chat. But you know, if you got a letter,
She was
come on
speaking
and
facts
text and
though.
come through. She was them
She definitely was
stanzas
speaking
was
facts. I just couldn't
she was
read that shit,
packing
and I can't
facts
type
and
it.
in paragraphs.
Look.
Look, I can't read it, and I can't type it.
Oh, we
But
love you,
I
sis.
love y'all, so I'm
Love
Love
I'm
you
you.
gone.
too.
All right. So yeah, getting back to the kid part. The biggest thing is, man, when talking to these people, when getting them involved, um, the kid, like you said, the kid will do everything in their power to make sure that that situation is unsuccessful, 100%. Um, that's look, girl,
It's
just
no
text.
pressure, baby. It's no
No
pressure. We
pressure. You
love
don't
you,
gotta have
Erica.
video.
We
No
just
pressure.
joking. It's entertainment. We appreciate you all the time,
Yeah,
100%.
you can
Without
you can
wow.
do the audio. You can do just the audio. You don't have to do the video.
My biggest thing is like it's a fine line, right?
Hmm.
It's a fine line because not only do you have to at that point find out if your relationship's rocking right with this person, but you have to make sure they mesh right with the kids
Right.
because I've heard and seen some situations. She got
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
So I've seen situations where you might rock out well as adults, but you and the kids just don't rock.
Hmm.
And you have to be cognizant of the kids.
Hmm.
And that's what we are talking about on episode 29 tonight. Because everybody thinks, you know what, look, we'll make it rock, we'll make it happen. The kids will just come with it. But they might not. You know what I'm saying? And at some point when they don't come with it and when the kids aren't helping support your relationship, it's going to come to a head and you gotta make a decision. Everybody that you date is not fit to be around your children. And it's not like they're a bad person. Like let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like you can sit there and be a good person but not be fit to be a step parent.
Right.
And it's cool. Like, keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I like you. We can date. I'm not a stepdaddy. I'm not ready to be a stepmommy. And a lot of people fear, like, if they had that conversation, that that's going to end that whole situation because that person has kids. But I think for the whole family and the whole future, I think you should have that conversation up front.
Yeah. Yeah. It is about having that conversation. And we always get down to the same thing over and over on how important communication is. But it's all about that. And you got to have some of those conversations like that up front. Up front. Not everybody is deserving of your time and your family's time, your kids' time. So um, I wish that people were more guarded with their kids and bringing people, bringing people around and things of that nature, because every interaction that that kid has with someone that their parents are talking to plays a huge impact. Plays a huge impact. So um, we can really talk about it. Hey, I'm going to bring you on, and we can stare at the ceiling if you want. It's up to you, darling. But I'm gonna let you do what you do since you got bold enough, you got strong enough to pull it in. Hey, Erica, what's going on?
Oh,
Oh wait,
Uh,
y'all can hear me, right?
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Talk your talk.
Um. So basically, in a nutshell, I agree with Bianca.
Hmm.
You do have to watch how you say it, but I do think like a lot of it has to do with maturity because if I know that the person genuinely cares about my son and he's coming to me like, hey Erica, these are things that I noticed. Okay, I'll listen to what you're saying because it may be something that maybe I see too, but maybe he may need it from a man, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, versus like me as a woman. But I think it's just all like relationships and blended families are very hard, and
Right.
a lot of it you need boundaries because I
Hmm.
kind of did that nonsense with my son's father and it was a lot, but there was
Mm.
also a lack of boundaries, so a lot of stuff just went left that shouldn't have went left.
Mm. Mm.
so Eric, I want to say thank you first and foremost for being a great supporter to the show.
Oh, you know.
We love your messages. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I
Um,
had to write that paragraph. I was just feeling it, so I was like,
nah,
I
I
had
love
to
it.
throw my little two
You
cents up
good?
in there.
So what I want to ask you is like, what happens if your son tells you they're not feeling the person that you're dating at all, and you're dating that person and you like him, but your son doesn't like him for some reason, and I'm not even going to say what the reason is, but look, mom, I'm not feeling him. How does that conversation go?
I mean, damn, that's tough. I mean, I would one talk to my son to try to figure out what is it that he really, like what is it that he's experienced, and I would try to also try to figure out like, okay, try to talk to both of them, like what's going on here. But I mean, if they just can't get it together, then I don't know. That's gonna be hard. We might not make it. We might
Who
not, I
might
mean,
not make
like
it?
my kid,
Who,
he gonna always be my son at the end of the day.
right.
Now, I'm not saying that my son is right, all the time. I'm not saying that I'm gonna just let him be sabotaging my relationships, but at the same time, he's gonna always be my son.
Right.
So we have to figure out a way to work this out. Just like if I date a man, and that's always gonna be your daughter. I could give you advice all day long about what you need to do with your daughter, but it's up to you if you're gonna take it.
Hmm.
But at some point, she can't just be disrespecting me, and then you're gonna get tired of always feeling like you in the middle. So it's like, how is that gonna work in the long term? That's gonna be tough. Cause you're
Yeah,
gonna get tired of breaking up, whatever. And I'm not beefing with no kid. I'm
that's
grown. I'm
facts.
not
Right.
about to be arguing with nobody's child, but your child can't be disrespecting me either. I know my place. I know I'm not their mother. I'm not trying to be their mother. You know what I'm saying? But I genuinely will care for your kid. But I think you have to also genuinely accept whatever role you're gonna be in. If you're
Right.
gonna be their girlfriend, you gotta know what comes with that. Yeah,
Right.
and I think it's important to have a bond with the kids too. Like when I met my son's father, me and his daughter, he had two children when I met him. Me and his daughter hit it off right away. His son was kind of shy. But we built a relationship to where now me and their dad, we're not together. He has another girlfriend, but me and the daughter still talk.
That's what I
Okay,
You
was
know,
going
so
to
with
ask.
that being
Yeah.
said, Erica, what would you say is more important when you're dating a single parent? Is the relationship with their child more important, or the parent?
is is my relationship with my child more important than my boyfriend?
Is the relationship with you? Let's say if the shoe was on the other foot, is the relationship with you and their child more important as far as cultivating that than the relationship with you and them?
I
What
think it's
relationship?
equally important.
Okay,
To me, I think it's equally important because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to be with somebody that I'm like, damn, I don't like these kids. I don't want to feel like that, and
okay,
I won't want nobody feeling that way towards my son. If it's gonna be a chore or you acting like you don't want to be around him, but you want to be around me, nah, that's not gonna work. You
Right.
gotta be happy when you see both of us.
So
right.
Be a package deal, and that's how I feel about that. Like at this point in my life, my son comes first.
And
right.
see, that's key, K Dizzle. She just hit it right on the head.
I
Erica
know.
said she's a package deal, and
Right.
that's perfect.
So let me say this too, Erica. Let me
But I'm
ask you this
not gonna
question.
force you to do nothing you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ain't ready to be a father, okay, fine. That's that. But
Right.
Facts.
I'm gonna let you know up front when you meet me what it is.
What it
I'm looking
is.
for a serious relationship. I have one son. This
Mm-hmm.
is, what it is. I'm not saying be his dad, but just because you're
Just
with me, like you're going to be there. And he's going to look up to you in some ways, I'm sure, and probably see you as like, okay, I don't want to say see you as a father figure, but naturally he might. You know what I'm saying? Because you're with me. So
yeah.
that's how I see that.
And look, your situation is one of the exact triangles that I was trying to figure out on
Mhm.
how that last person in the wheel, that last moving part in the wheel would feel about that. So you had a relationship with your son's father, and your son's father had two other daughters, right?
A daughter and a son.
A daughter, he had a daughter, right?
Hmm.
And you guys had a long term relationship, and then stopped after a while, but you still kept a relationship with the daughter,
Right,
right?
but I know my place. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we
I know you
still,
know your place. I know
yeah,
you're doing it right. At the same time, your son's father now has another girlfriend, right?
yes, hmm,
So now she has to contend with not only the daughter's mom, and you as being the son. Now you as being the son's mom, but you also have a relationship with the daughter that she still may or may not have just yet. You
hmm,
see what I'm saying?
yeah. I
So
see what
how?
you're saying. That's
So
why I'm saying,
that's what I'm
listen,
saying.
fam, listen, Kate Dizzle. That's why I'm telling you, listen, fam, listen. It's work, man, because there's a lot of personalities, and not everybody is mature.
Right.
You
Right.
got
That's the
some
whole point.
people who understand their place, and they're like, okay, I'm not with the dad no more. If if he dates this person, she's around my daughter, she treat my daughter right, that's cool. But then you got some girls, no matter what you do, it's gonna be F her, I don't want her around my daughter, whatever, whatever, and you got some men that's bitter too. Cause some men do
Exactly.
it too. I don't want this nigga around my excuse me, I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I
Yeah.
don't want this dude around my son or my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So it can go either
Mm-hmm.
way. But yeah, I
Erica,
mean,
preach,
his new
Erica. Erica, you preaching tonight,
girl.
Erica.
I mean, his new girlfriend, she got her work cut out, I guess. But that ain't mine no more. That ain't my problem no more. But she definitely got her work cut out for her.
Moving parts to say the least. And look,
To say the
this
least, bro.
to say the least. And I just say, look, this is the last one I'm gonna bring up in here because I know she is typing and texting away, and she halfway there. Say what you gotta say, hashtag, because all we seeing is foreheads. Girl, you got your headphones in, Bianca. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Oh,
Uh oh. B. Can't hear you, B. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, B. Oh man, look. I know it's super spicy with them too. But look, before we get Major D,
it might not have been meant.
it might not have been meant to be. There's a lot of moving parts with that. You
It
know,
is, man. That's the best way to sum it up in layman's terms. It's a lot,
and
it's a
the
lot of fucking moving parts, right?
yeah, and the biggest thing of it that it requires is communication on all fronts, and everybody knowing what their roles are and what their places are
And I know in a fucking real world,
in the
it's
real
not that
world.
easy, bro.
It's
You
not that
know
easy.
that. Like the kid ain't gonna like the dude every time he comes around. He ain't feeling it. The son ain't feeling the guy, or the daughter ain't feeling him. It's not always easy. Of course, in a perfect world we live in, it's
Right.
great. It's perfect. But we're talking about the situations where, you got a situation where you and the significant other is hitting it off very well, but your kids ain't feeling the situation.
Right.
And that's tough, man, you know? And it's tough to say the least. So it's very easy for us to talk about how to move forward in those situations. And sometimes the kids take the short end of the stick. And I would like to probably say most of the time they do.
Mm.
Because when the parents end their relationship, at the end of the day, the kids are left with their mom or dad in a scorn situation anyway.
Well, I will say that the parents take the short end and stick of that. The reason why I say that is because the parents have to be extremely guarded as far as who they talk to and who they're allowed to let in, even close to the point where they get to allowing that person within their life. You know what I'm saying? Allowing that person to meet that kid. And so that takes a special person to say, okay, you cut a lot of things off, and sometimes you might see something as a warning sign that may not be a warning sign, and that person immediately gets cut from the running. So they're very, very it's the sensitivity subject is like a detonating a bomb when kids are involved,
Very
110%.
true. Very
But
true.
it needs to be said. It needs to be had. And if you are out there and you are out in the market, in the free market, if you will, out there looking for a significant other, and you find people, which more than likely is going to happen more oftentimes than not with kids, you have to be mindful of that. You have to be respectful of that, and you have to let your intentions be known up front. That's the easiest and best way you can move on through any situation is letting your intentions be known up front. It's too much fuckery out here for people to be doing what they're doing and not doing what they're doing. Bianca, is your stuff working right now?
I think I'm ready. You can
Yeah, I
hear
see
me?
you. Yep, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to figure it out. Y'all keep talking about these children. Is
Hmm.
no way in the world you can have a relationship with somebody with kids and say, I can't do kids.
Yeah.
What the
Well,
hell are you doing then?
we'll see.
Like, go ahead, I'm
Here's what
listening.
no. Here's what you have. If somebody says I can't do that or I'm not ready, that doesn't mean that they don't want to.
No, I could respect that.
Yeah,
I could respect it. For you to say it, I
right.
could respect it. But I don't want you to think we can go no further.
Right, right.
You
And
know what
what
I'm
I'm
saying?
saying is,
Because then if I go further with you, I'm gonna think that since you already told me
yeah,
you can't do kids, you might just be antsy, or you know what I'm saying? You might just be ticked off just to be ticked off. You know what I mean? And they ain't done did nothing, and I can't have that.
it could be the it could be the wrong way to say they're not ready for that commitment.
Exactly. Like I would respect the person that say, "Hey, I can't do kids,"
Is that's
rather
why.
than, and then I can deal with you accordingly,
So
because it's
so
still accordingly available. You know what I
right.
mean? I could
That's
deal with you, but I ain't gonna take you serious, me for real. You know,
letting the
like
intentions be
okay,
known up front.
Accordingly.
right. I can deal with you accordingly,
Accordingly.
but
Fuck what you heard. Accordingly.
accordingly. But on top of that, like if you in the house and then like you done made it to in the house and you know we got kids and you're gonna play a role. I'm not the type of chick where as though you're gonna come in the door and be like, "Oh,
But
I
what if
can't
he
deal with
don't?
kids."
But
What?
what if he don't, Bianca?
There's the door. But the way you came in is the way you leave. Quick. It's not a game. It's quick because it's not a game because for real, we talking about young lives for real. I'm raising young girls. You're
That's real.
not coming in here talking about you don't want to play a role. Oh, you playing a role, whether it's the
That's
janitor,
very
whether it's the
serious.
parent, it's the janitor, the nanny. You're gonna play a role. And it might be the motherfucker that keep leaving out the door. You know, like you're gonna play a role because it
We love you,
we're
B. We love
you
you. We
know
love you. We love you.
this is what it is. I don't understand how you gonna say. I don't even get how you know if I meet you. Oh, hey, you got kids? Yeah, I got two of them. I feel like you should be like, oh no, damn. You feel me? I feel like you should be like, hell no, you got two kids, or I got a son, and nah, you got a baby. I can't deal with it because it's people who are just not made to be parents, or it's people who just not made to be around your kids.
As the great Arizona Ron says, it's hard to walk away from a beautiful woman, her cooking, and the guac 5,000.
Something is wrong with you. You're greedy as hell. You eating the girl cooking, and you don't like her fucking kid. You coming
Guac,
in the
guac.
house. You want cooked meals, but you don't like her kid. You don't like her cooking.
and
Get
and
your
then at
ass
that
Yeah, a lot
on.
of
point, and then at that point, it's tough for the kids because they're the only outline like underlying factor.
They
selfish
are
people out there.
kids.
Selfish.
We talking about kids. We talking about growing people. They're not even grown.
That's what
They're
I'm
not
saying.
even like
But
substantial
unfortunately,
in
though,
what they're
Bianca,
doing. Like you can still mold
everybody
a
not
child.
direct, but everybody's not direct like us. Like other motherfuckers gonna sit there and keep playing to get what they want out the person and say fuck the kids. And at the end of the day,
Something is wrong with them people.
it's gonna be a terrible situation.
That's gonna go so left.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Bianca, I
feel bad
love
for
you.
them people. I
So
love
I'm
you
gonna let you
left.
go.
So
I'm gonna
Love
let
left.
you.
you go.
Edu.
It's gonna be left. Like
Bianca.
cook.
Hey, yo, Bianca drops motherfucker marketing material, yo. Left productions, bro.
Look, man.
Man, I love it. I
I
love it.
be that baby pappy. If raising other people's kids, if you're gonna get
I
involved
be
with
that.
somebody,
Hey man, you gotta let them know where you got the reference from.
I be that baby pappy. If you
I
don't
be
know where
that
that
baby.
reference
I be
is
that baby,
from,
baby.
I can't help you. I can't help you at all. Look,
Okay, we gonna leave it at that.
yeah, life. Um,
Bernie Mac.
be be upfront, be open and honest with any and all situations, especially when you talk about a woman or a man with kids. Don't play with these people. Don't sit around because I'm telling you, it just comes back 5, 10 fold, and you do more damage by being selfish than anything else. Um, if
Ooh.
you are going to make a decision and be a part of a child's life, commit to it and be a part of that child's life.
Hey, but
Plain and
look what
simple.
Arizona said. K does a read what Arizona said, please.
Huh? People lie people lie like they like your kids. Your discernment better be up. Your discernment better be up. And look, you already know, man. Protect your children at all costs. They're our future. If you got badass kids, uh, get your life together. Make sure they're not as bad when they grow up, because badass kids make badass humans.
It's funny, but
Perpetuate
it's real.
stereotype.
Funny, but it's real.
But yeah, man, and we all make light of the situation. But a shout out to those who do make that commitment and who do stick with it, who are in those kids' lives and doing the right things, because it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing at all. But protect your babies at all costs. Protect your kids at all costs. And shout out to Hef, who's bringing one into the world. You will
Hey,
know it. You will know it
my baby
when it
girl's
drops.
coming
When it
into the
drops,
world.
you know, everything changes at that point, and everything becomes more clear. Your hustle
I'm gonna be
changes,
on
your
a
life changes, and things
podcast in a couple weeks and go, "Oh, baby, baby, ooh, ooh,
different. You better not bring that
ooh,
baby on the
ooh,
camera.
my baby
Look,
girl."
but look, man, what you got, Hef?
Look, man, look, I'm happy because God smiled down on my family today. I'm having a baby girl. And what that means is I have a challenge, and it's a great challenge. I have to be a wonderful dad to a young and beautiful young lady because that's what my job is now. So I'm going to do my best. I won't be perfect along the way, but I will learn. I will research, learn from my mistakes, and make sure that I communicate with my child. And I'm excited about this experience. I know Kermit K. Dizzle does a phenomenal job with his four daughters. I'm happy to be a girl dad. I'm happy to have a child with Shanae. She's always in the chat every week. I love her very much. Just looking forward to life, man. This is what it's all about. Everybody in the chat pretty much knows me besides a few people. And like at the end of the day, like we just gotta keep growing. Hoes can grow. You know, I can grow, K Dizzle can grow, and that's what it's all about. So thank you guys. The promo will be coming out soon. We're not going to keep bullshitting you. We do have your videos. It will be chopped up. It will be put up for a beautiful video. Please send some more at the all dressed up podcast at gmail.com. We are popping on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook Live every Sunday nights at 9, excuse me. Follow me and K Dizzle. My handle is Hef Streams everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and K Dizzle is K Dizzle DC. Love you guys. Thank you very much. And next week is episode 30.
Next week is episode 30. My outgoing advice to the new dad to be, or the current dad, is just be the best Marcus you can be for your child. There is no right or wrong way to be a parent. There is only the way that you learn and the way that you adapt. And if you're the best version of yourself for that child will win, that child will know love, and that child would know everything it needs to know about life and get in there. Shout out to you. Shout out to Malika. I love y'all. We will see y'all for episode 30. And we are out.
I love
And and I and they know, and we go all in, and I they know, 'cause we go all